Hey Dongles, it's Dan with an important announcement. So, after the recording of this episode, and before its release, obviously, we lost our fellow Dongle, Amanda. She went by Mandy on Facebook. Amanda and I were friends for about 8 years, and it's really strange to lose someone you have never met in person, yet that loss still hits the same. Amanda was a strong supporter of this podcast since the beginning, and she really wanted us to cover sleepaway camp. She was elated when we finally did cover it during our first summer slasher camp last year in 2021. Amanda also had a lot she wanted to say and kicked around the idea of starting a podcast of her own, but eventually found her way to hosting her own internet music show, The Unhinged Ginge, and it was on Moshville Radio, where she played all her favorite 90s alternative, punk, and even metal. Amanda was always ready to drop some guar for me and any requests by her devoted listeners. In the beginning, she would message me for advice during her live programming. Of course, there were hiccups with tech, and she said she hated her voice, something all of us in podcasting know too well. But I assured her that there was nothing wrong with her voice and to just keep going. Unapologetically, yet beautifully crass, and a caring friend is how I will remember Amanda. This year, we will return to Summer Slasher Camp in Amanda's honor. We're leaving it up to you, the Dongles, to choose the 3 movies we cover in June, July, and August. Join the Dongle Den Facebook group linked in the notes, and I'll have a poll where members can put in their own selections for votes, and we'll do the top 3. We won't be limiting the slashers to a camp theme this year, so feel free to get nuts with it. We all miss you, Amanda.
Hey kid, do you want to watch a movie where a man injects ecto-cooler into people and then they go bananas?
That sounds awesome.
Cool, get the cat.
You ready to talk some movies, Brennan?
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's go! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth!
Hi, welcome to the Corrupted Youth Podcast. I'm still Dan.
And I am still Brennan.
We're a father and son duo that explores the latest blockbusters, classic genre films, and the schlockiest of golden age VHS rental store flicks.
In what? In spoiler fed... No. In spoiler heavy fashion.
Spoiler fezzy fashion. We're both wearing fezzes right now.
Oh, yeah.
Or would that be fez? I'm not sure what the plural fez is.
Foos?
Anyway. So what we're covering, it's something very special this month. We are covering Re-Animator. Everybody just loves Re-Animator, but here's the thing. We got to see it, a 35mm print of the uncut version.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And it was part of the Wisconsin Film Festival, and it was one of several films that was donated to the Wisconsin Center for Film and Theater Research in Madison, Wisconsin, by director Stuart Gordon. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because as it turns out, he's an alumni of UW-Madison.
Woot woot.
Which I did not know.
I did not know that, yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. So, yeah, he did a lot of stuff down here and did a lot of theater work and went on to actually start a theater that's still around.
Yeah.
The Broome Street Theater. So that's super crazy.
Yeah, Madison's just really cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, also his 3 daughters and co-screenwriter Dennis Paoli all showed up for a Q&A after.
Pretty cool.
Which, it was really cool to get a lot of their personal stories on things. Mm-hmm. And some of their insight.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it might come up while we're talking, but I don't know. It was just really cool to get those personal anecdotes,
Yeah.
especially from the co-screenwriter,
Uh-huh.
because he and Stuart Gordon were friends since high school,
Yeah.
and they went to the UW together.
Yeah.
Just lifelong friends after that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, he was a super cool guy too.
Oh, yeah. He was a lot of fun. I like how somebody did ask him about how involved he was, like going on set and stuff. And
Yeah.
he was just like, I was never on set. I was a writer.
Yeah, he said that the writers are the first ones off the project.
Yep.
You write it, and then you're basically gone.
So, I mean, what an experience for you, being your first time
Yeah.
seeing Re-Animator
Yeah.
in a small theater full of people who just were there to see Re-Animator.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried that it was going to end up being like a midnight movie screening where people were going to just start saying all the lines.
Thankfully, that never happened.
Oh no, everybody was super cool and respectful.
Yeah, that was a great audience.
It really was. I mean, there was a group of people behind us, or was it just one? Anyway, doesn't matter. She had never seen Re-Animator,
Yeah.
and to just have those reactions to something I've seen so many times from a complete stranger was
Pretty cool.
that was priceless. That was so great. Because anytime we've seen a horror movie in the theater, it's not that busy.
No.
Anytime I ever saw one growing up in the theater, it was never that busy. So, what an experience. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're going to show some more films later this year, especially Dagon. I love me some Dagon. That'd be really cool. Oh, yeah. Except for that CGI in it, but we'll deal with that.
You get past it.
Oh, I don't even care in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to watch, but the rest of it really makes up for it. But enough about that. Let's move on to some IMDb info. So, according to IMDb, after an odd new medical student arrives on campus, a dedicated local and his girlfriend become involved in bizarre experiments centering around the reanimation of dead tissue.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's straight and to the point. So, Re-Animator was directed by Stuart Gordon. H.P. Lovecraft gets a writing credit on this too, since it's
Interesting.
based off of, well, Dennis Paoli said, what, five different stories?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get into which ones.
No.
Nobody asked.
Nobody asked.
That's fine. But as we all know, nobody's really put a good H.P. Lovecraft story on film. Unless it's just like that short film.
That might get you some emails, that statement there.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
Right in. So it could go directly into the trash.
Yeah.
Speaking of another controversial thing here, let's get to the cast. Because, who do we have first? Jeffrey Combs. Not Coombs, everybody. I hear Coombs all the time.
I've never heard that.
I've never... So in preparation for this,
Mm-hmm.
I watched an interview that was just him talking, and he introduced himself as Jeffrey Combs.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's a thing, so...
Well, people are dongles. Real bozos out there.
So that's it. As far as I'm concerned, that's a dead issue. Save yourself that email.
My coworker says, instead of Henry Cavill, he says Henry Cavill. And I'm like, what are you saying? Every single time he talks about him, he just hasn't corrected it. Like, Combs, that's easy. It's a word. That is a word. It's no different.
Anyway, moving on. We also have Bruce Abbott and the always lovely Barbara Crampton. She's been in everything. So she's a big genre actress. I'm sure even you've seen her and stuff.
Probably. I don't pay attention to actors and actresses like that.
David Gale. And we'll throw in Robert Sampson as well because he's in it enough. Everybody else is just either nonsense or butts. But I guess, you know what? Carolyn Purdy Gordon. Let's throw her in there. Stuart Gordon's wife.
Yeah.
Just because he put her in a bunch of stuff. Ooh, how about a trailer, Brennan?
Oh, for sure.
Initiate trailer now.
Herbert West is at the top of his class in medical school.
How can you teach such drivel? These people are here to learn, and you're closing their minds before they even have a chance. What are you?
He's brilliant, but a little weird.
I've broken the 6 to 12 minute barrier. I've conquered brain death.
His experiments have always been unorthodox.
It was dead.
But lately they're getting out of hand. And he's just made a discovery that could wake up the dead.
Herbert West has effected reanimation in dead animal tissue.
What are you thinking? How do you feel? You?
15 cc's of reagent being administered.
Once you wake up the dead, you've got a real mess on your hands.
Herbert, you're insane! Now what happened?
I had to kill him!
He's dead?
Not anymore.
Herbert West brought a lot of dead people back to life. And not one of them showed any appreciation. H.P. Lovecraft's classic tale of horror, Re-Animator.
Mr. West.
You'll never get credit for my discovery. Who's going to believe a talking head? Get a job in a sideshow.
It will scare you to pieces.
That's a new fancy machine we got there for trailers, huh?
Yeah, that's the trailerizer.
Huh. Never seen that one before.
Well, whatever you do, wear pants around it. That's all I'm going to say. It's very dangerous.
Okay.
I'm just going to kind of start off with a brief description of our main characters, and that'll kind of give us a lot of story bits, I guess.
Okay.
So we have Herbert West, played by Jeffrey Combs, and he is the titular reanimator, and he's obsessed with conquering death using his reagent, which was kind of already in the IMDb stuff, I guess, but whatever. We have Dan. He's a med student at Miskatonic University.
No, you're not.
Oddly enough, this is one of those movies where I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
Normally I do. The whole time I'll just be thinking, like somebody says, Dan. There's a lot of yelling for Dan in this movie, and I just don't respond.
The only Brennan I know on film is Step Brothers, so...
That's pretty great, Brennan.
It's pretty great, Brennan, yeah.
Yeah. You lucked out with that one.
I sure did.
But yeah, med student at Miskatonic University. Who doesn't learn when to stop no matter how many zany situations happen?
He really has insane drive.
He does.
Like, the most horrible thing could happen right in front of him. He's like, okay, this is perfect.
Right. When he's introduced, it's patient dying on the table. And he just keeps wanting to keep going.
Yeah, like he just has that drive, and he has a lot of spirit. He has a good heart.
Does he, though?
Well, okay. In the beginning, he does.
I mean, I really kind of question his motivations throughout all this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Definitely towards the end.
Definitely, yes. I mean, after a while, it does get a lot out of hand. But, I mean, I guess I could see that initial excitement once he first sees the reagent.
Once he first sees the reagent, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just doesn't look good.
No.
It's not a good look.
No.
We also have Megan, the only person who's not cool with anything happening in this movie before things even start getting out of hand. She is Dan's fiance and also the dean's daughter.
Messy.
Yeah. We also have Dr. Hill, played by David Gale, who just chews it up in this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jeffrey Combs in this movie. Just every scene they're in. Fantastic. He's the inventor of a laser drill, and he's also a lobotomizing jerk and a huge creep.
Yep.
And I'm also going to give a special shout out to the cigar chomping security guard, who's always willing to get a coffee or run off with a nudie magazine so all the morgue shenanigans can take place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just conveniently gone, and
He didn't even have to be in this movie. Like, when you think about it,
No,
he didn't.
no.
But I'm so happy he is.
Me too. Because that guy just seems to be having a good time.
Yeah.
So after an incident with his reagent in Germany, Herbert West comes to the States and starts working at Miskatonic University, or just going there, I suppose. Seems like it's very much like he's doing his clinicals.
Yeah.
He shows up and he just butts heads with Dr. Hill right away. And Jeffrey Combs does not play this character subtle by any means.
Mm-mm.
So he's just instantly off. So it's understandable that when he goes to move into Dan's place because Dan's looking for a roommate, that Megan is just not cool with it. She's instantly creeped out by him. But it doesn't take long for reanimation shenanigans to kind of start. And first things first, Dan's cat. They actually start looking for the cat, and they find the cat in the fridge, which the reaction from everybody in the crowd.
Yeah, everyone's like,
With
oh.
all this cat stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the first of a couple scenes that didn't really go over well for a lot of people in the audience.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so our cat is first to be reanimated. Well, in the States.
Yeah.
Twice.
I like West fighting the cat. That whole bit in the basement, in the basement when the cat's first reanimated, that fight is amazing.
Just a grown man with a puppet cat stuck to his back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. I mean, he's just smashing into everything.
Uh-huh.
Tumbling over, lots of good physical.
Oh, yeah.
Just acting going on. And also he's really good too with all the subtle jokes in this, which I've seen in a lot, so they're just kind of things I chuckle about when he says things. So it was cool to hear a lot of people chuckle with it, because even watching it with friends when I was younger didn't really, get those responses from those weird dry jokes.
Yeah, the comedy overall, especially from West, is so good.
Yeah, some of the dialogue in this is fantastic.
Really funny.
Yeah, there's the one line from the trailer
that we definitely listened to.
Yeah, speaking of my history with Re-Animator, I ended up watching this a whole bunch of times when I was younger. And then in high school, I bought the VHS copy that was being sold from the grocery store video department near my house. And I brought it home. My mom, not a fan of this movie. I think everybody would know why if you know the movie. And she wanted me to even get rid of it. That didn't happen very often when I was young. Usually it was just anything goes.
You had a corrupted youth.
Oh! Is that the title of the show, everybody?
That's the name of it.
Oh. Yeah, I wore it out. I still have it somewhere. I mean, like when I say I wore it out, it broke. And I spliced it together with Scotch tape. And then it worked fine after that. I was pretty scared, but I've probably only watched it a handful of times since then, and probably well over 20 years since the last time I watched it on
Jeez.
VHS. Well, one thing leads to another. So that cat ends up getting reanimated twice because they were able to just kill it, and then they bring it back. That's when Megan sees it and was just like,
of course.
I mean, I was trying to figure out, like, what time was this? Because Dan woke up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, actually. Hold on. Also, you should knock first.
Yeah. I mean, they might have been sleeping. But anyway, it doesn't matter because story needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan's all on board at this point because I suppose there is a degree of you did see a dead cat return to life.
Yeah. Either way, whether it works on humans or not, that's going to be a major breakthrough. And you get to be a part of it.
Oh, for sure. So at this point, I mean, I guess it's not really... I mean, the cat freaking out and attacking is kind of a good sign of, yeah, probably shouldn't get involved.
Yeah.
Or maybe this needs to be, a little more on the up and up. People just won't understand. So they decide, like anybody would, to sneak into the morgue and reanimate a corpse. And so when they were going around trying to figure out which one to pick,
Yeah.
like too old, and what does Dan call the one hit by a bus? He calls him a meatball.
Yeah.
They end up finding one who was like in his 20s, decent health. They just inject some reagent in the back of the skull. Nothing really happens, so they inject with more. And then that corpse just gets up and instantly freaks out
Yeah.
and starts attacking them. And then the dean finds out about what's happening, so he ends up showing up, like trying to like, hey, like what's going on in there?
Yeah. And
And
Dean,
I like how the dude the reanimated guy just knocks the door down
yeah,
on top of the dean.
the huge giant door.
Yeah. And first of many butts in this movie too.
Oh yeah,
This movie has like a pretty decent amount of nudity in it.
a lot of butts.
And it's mostly dude butts.
Mostly dude butts. Yeah.
Almost entirely dude butts.
Yeah.
Which, way to go, Re-Animator.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're being pretty progressive there for 1985. And there's some Wang in it too.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, but it's there.
Not gratuitous Wang.
No, but
That's a band name.
gratuitous Wang.
Yeah.
There's also like one later on towards the end of the movie, burnt Wang.
Nice.
There's like some burn makeup going on.
I didn't pick that one up.
Yeah, it was kind of dark, but it's there. So a little bit of everything for everybody. Yeah, so they end up having to fight this hulking naked man. And West ends up using the bone saw and going right straight through the back, through the front.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, that was a pretty cool
That was
effect.
a really cool effect.
That's a good example of like, okay, this is our first major gore thing happening in the movie. And just hearing people squirm and stuff.
Yeah.
And laugh and chuckle.
Yeah.
That was great.
There was the part where they do the Dr. Hill opens up the skull
Oh, yeah.
and takes the brain out. That had some really good gore.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That also was grossing people out.
Oh, for sure. Medical stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a guaranteed gross out.
Uh-huh.
Even if you're kind of into gore, like I am, but the medical stuff always kind of gives me the ick.
Mm-hmm.
So in a panic, they're like, well, we gotta you can't have the dean die. I'm dating his daughter. Type of thing going on. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just reanimate him. Sure, it'll be fine. It is not fine.
Of course it's not fine.
Yeah, because like everybody else, he starts freaking out. And that's actually when the security guard shows up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up taking the dean away. And he ends up, this is kind of weird, because he ends up in a padded room that's right next to Dr. Hill's office.
Yeah, like why did he have a padded room right next to his office?
Convenience, I guess, of the story. But, maybe they just were like, well, I don't know, put it next to this for the set. Saves us a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it just seemed kind of weird.
It's a little weird, yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Hill, since he's lobotomy crazy with his little laser drill, ends up lobotomizing the dean on top of it.
He was already pretty far gone, too.
Right. But, I mean, at least he's not as violent
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, I guess, whatever. That plays an important part later. So, yeah, then I guess the next major story beat is Dr. Hill shows up when Herbert West is doing some stuff. And,
the door was unlocked.
yeah, he didn't knock. He just shows up in that basement.
Mm-hmm.
He basically just strong arms West into just letting him take all the credit for this discovery.
Pretty crummy.
Yeah, which he seemed really against the whole idea of the beating the 6 to 12 minutes of brain activity.
Yeah, he was all against it until he was proven wrong.
Yep. And then he just is like, well, I'm going to steal this. This is mine now. But you know what? West isn't going to let anybody else take the credit.
No.
So he just decapitates Dr. Hill with a shovel. And then he's like, whoa, I've got a really fresh specimen now. What happens if I inject the head and the body?
Because, of course,
I mean, why not?
yeah.
See what happens. He's a man of science. But it's pretty cool because Dr. Hill's head just spends a lot of time for the rest of the movie hanging out in a tray.
Yeah.
It just gets like some blood squirted on the bottom, so it's kind of like gurgling and
Soaking it in.
yeah, raspy. I like how
Yeah.
he's like getting off on it.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting though that he maintains a level of intelligence, if not his full intelligence. Just everybody else just kind of goes nuts
Yeah.
and becomes like wildly violent,
Yeah.
where he just becomes
Unhinged.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he also was able to mentally control his body.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
That is kind of weird. Fun for the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It is.
I mean,
You can't think about it too hard.
no, you can't take it too seriously either, because at this point, like if you haven't gotten the tone of this movie, then you're just going to be lost on it.
Yeah.
He ends up like knocking out West, and then the big question is, how does he get around town? Because he's just a body carrying around a head in a tray. There's a little trick that happens later, like when he sneaks into the morgue,
Mm-hmm.
and he uses like this model head
Yeah.
and puts it on top of the body.
It's really funny.
That was pretty funny, because when they show the head earlier in his office, when he's talking to Megan about her dad, it looks like it just looks off, and I don't always remember the head gag. So this time in particular, I was like, man, that head does look kind of goofy. Like, what a weird prop. And then when you see it used later, it's like, oh, that's
Yeah, because it has to fit on a human head.
it's just like a mask.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is pretty funny to see it wearing like the surgical mask and stuff, and how the security guard not really paying attention.
Even its ear falls off and he doesn't notice.
Yeah, you think like, oh no, he's gonna get busted. And then when he's talking, because he knows it's Dr. Hill, and then it's just him yelling from inside a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then there's like a whole bunch of stuff happening with him where, you know, he's trying to get the body to do his bidding, but the body's just always kind of clumsy and dopey and doesn't quite do things right, and he gets irritated with it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the show Ghosts, not the US version,
Gross.
the UK version, because man, that US one is crap. Don't watch it. Anyway, there's a decapitated guy on there, and the body's, his ghost body is really dumb and almost its own entity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty funny setup.
Yeah. So yeah, because he's lobotomized, the dean, he can now control him telepathically as well. Now he's just a reanimated head. This adds a whole new dynamic to their situation, because now it's like he wants to start an army. It's because it doesn't seem like he's really into, I'm going to do some research and get famous from this.
Yeah.
He's just,
He wants to make an army of, like, Frankensteins.
whoa.
Whoa.
There's probably so many dongles out there who just wish we would stop talking about that movie. I mean, every time. I wonder how many episodes we've brought it up. This is episode 60.
Woohoo.
But anyway, he gets the dean to go kidnap his daughter and bring her in. And this is where it gets gross.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, when, you know how he mentioned he was a big creep? Well, it turns out he was completely obsessed with the dean's daughter this whole time. And they even find a file in his office where he has her hair
Yeah.
and just newspaper clippings of her achievements in high school and stuff. It's really gross.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And he even lays it on really thick in one part earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, dude, you're gross.
Yeah.
This is your colleague's daughter. But yeah, so he wastes no time ripping off her clothes. He gets very rapey on her
Mm-hmm.
and does some gross stuff. Before it gets too gross, though, that's when he gets interrupted by Dan and Herbert. Thank goodness for that, because it
Yeah.
was starting to get really tense
Mhm.
and it was really uncomfortable around a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's where all of a sudden I was like, I kind of don't like watching this movie right now. Because it's hard to not have a smile on your face watching this movie, and you definitely don't want to have one on your face during that scene.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like, I found myself, I was like, just kind of unfocus. Just don't really pay attention to this part. But yeah, this is when we get a naked rampage because all heck starts breaking loose here. And it's just reanimated bodies all over the place, freaking out, getting squirmy. Like they're just kind of getting into stuff randomly even.
Yeah.
Because I think the chaos, Dr. Hill kind of loses control of them.
I wonder if it's a telepathic thing or because he does just communicate to them by telling them what to do.
Yeah.
It might just be verbal commands.
That's true too.
He might, because he also is studying where the will is in the brain, like where it's located. So I think he just like lasered the will out of them and then could just tell them what to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of interesting because they're zombies, but they're not zombies in the traditional sense that everybody knows. They're not like Romero zombies.
Yeah, they don't eat anything. They're just reanimated people.
Right.
That are crazy.
Right. You can re-kill every one of them.
Yeah.
There's like a part where there's an arm twitching on the floor, which I figure like that was just a cool looking effect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the only one who seems to kind of have any remembrance, and it could be an age thing too. It could be how long they've been gone. I
True,
suppose.
yeah.
Because, yeah.
Or maybe it just doesn't matter because it's a dumb, fun movie.
That's true.
And thinking about it too much is not the point.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to point out that you're not like traditional zombies.
Yeah,
you can kill
they're
them.
definitely not.
The Dean kind of has, because Megan starts calling out to him, and then he kind of has a moment of reason.
Mm-hmm.
And he was far too overprotective of a father to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But he seemed all right with Dan, though, I guess. So maybe
he tolerated him at least.
Yeah. But man, Megan always said daddy all the time. I was just like,
That's a red flag. That's outdated. That was outdated then.
It was. I agree. And you know what? I mean, I'm not going to tell people what to do, but
it's just weird.
Don't accept that if you're a father, I guess.
Yeah. It's okay if you're British, though.
Daddy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Daddy.
Reminds me of the little girl from Willy Wonka. Daddy, I want a squirrel.
Daddy, I want you to protect me from this reanimated corpse.
See? That works.
Oh, what is the test? The Bechdel test or whatever for women?
Oh, yeah.
She's not passing it.
No. Yeah, there's no way.
There's just no way. Her personality is fiance, Dean's daughter, boobs.
Yeah.
That's it. Screaming.
Yeah, just damsel in distress.
Object of men's affections. But yeah, Wes decides to do something crazy and attacks Dr. Hill's body with 2 syringes full of reagent to overdose it.
Bad idea.
Does not work out well.
No.
Freaks out, starts smashing everything everywhere, and then falls down. The chest opens up, and the intestines become alive and just start attacking West and like wrapping around him, pulling him in. At this point, there's an electrical fire happening. There's chemicals that have been spilled onto the floor.
Naked people running around everywhere.
Just, like I said, naked rampage is the best way to describe it. And so West is like, Dan, you have to save my research. And so Dan's like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to take the bag with the stuff, all the notes, some of the reagent. And he grabs Megan and they go to escape. She ends up getting attacked by one of the corpses out in the hallway. And she gets strangled to death.
Whoops.
Oh no. So then Dan takes her upstairs to the ER, starts performing chest compressions. She does not make it. She does
just
not
like
back.
the beginning of the movie.
She doesn't freak out like he did the first time.
Uh-huh.
But man, not making a good decision here.
No.
Because all of a sudden the music kicks up, zany music, and he goes into the bag, grabs a syringe, goes to inject it in the Megan. The screen goes black except for the reagent, and you just see it get injected.
This is pretty cool.
And then scream, credits.
And then sequel. And then another sequel.
Yeah, there are 2 sequels. There's Bride of Re-Animator and Beyond Re-Animator. Both directed by the producer, Brian Usna.
Hmm.
You can correct me on however that name is pronounced because I don't know. They're all right. I mean, this one had good critical responses to it, which is...
You just
pretty
can't really make
interesting.
a sequel to a movie like this, like a cult movie like this.
I think you can. I mean, the second one is okay.
It can just never live up to the first one.
No, it really can't. I mean, it's not necessarily lightning in a bottle, but I think like every time it's done after this, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do that's different? And not everybody is gonna pull something. I mean, in the second one, Dr. Hill's back, even though his head was squished in this one. Has bat wings on it, flies around. I got this from one of the guys from Ghoul.
What?
Yeah, because I did his Kickstarter for the comic book, and so I got this print of just says West, you bastard on it. It's just flying head. Raw sewage did that. Oh, it's neat.
That is pretty neat.
I figured if you were going to see it, you should see
Yeah,
that first.
that's an interesting story. To get it from Ghoul? Weird.
Anything else you want to talk about, Re-Animator?
The movie was really funny. Like, it was a really funny movie.
Now, I know we normally, because you are strict, like you don't want to do comedies.
Yeah.
And you tend to be hit and miss with horror comedies.
Yeah, I
Not
suppose.
everyone we've seen you're into.
This one was so funny, though. The comedy in it was just great. Almost every single joke landed. They were all funny.
Now, when you heard about Re-Animator the musical, because Stuart Gordon started that, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because I knew of it, and I just thought, well, that's kind of whatever, you know. I never really heard much about it or anything, but would you go see something like that if it kind of came around?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I'm curious to where they're fitting songs in.
Yeah, that's what I'd be really interested
And
to see.
what are the songs? Because they got to be pretty cheeky.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I imagine you can do more with like the comedy too, with something like that. It's definitely a lot more lighthearted. But yeah, and the visual effects they all landed. They were all really good.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have that much of a budget on this. What did they say when we...
Oh, I forget.
It was like maybe it was under $1 million, I think, or around $1 million. And I know it made money in the theaters.
That's good.
Yeah, so I mean, it did all right, and it's a well-known movie today. It's a classic. Has plenty of fans. I mean, I just saw somebody advertising Re-Animator T-shirts to me the other day. I was like, they do glow in the dark. That's pretty fun.
But yeah, the special effects were good. Comedy was good. The acting was really good.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Combs is...
Oh, so great.
He's in so much stuff, and he's in a lot. He's in Star Trek TV a few times. Plays a couple characters, and he had a pretty good recurring role in Star Trek Enterprise.
That's cool.
He played an Andorian captain.
Oh,
which is like, I don't know. There's something like his delivery, the way he can just be off like that.
Yeah.
And kind of arrogant, I guess. He was like so good in that role. But I mean, he's in like all the sequels, just tons of stuff. So keep your eye out for him.
Yeah, he definitely, like, I get it now.
Oh, here's something you might know him from.
Okay.
He was the voice of Ratchet on Transformers Animated and a lot of the animated Transformers shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's cool too.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. It sounds like he's had a pretty successful career.
Oh,
after this.
I mean, he gets around. He's still acting to this day.
That's good.
Same with Barbara Crampton. Both of them just always working. Just good character actor, Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Like it's hard.
It's just such a good movie.
It's hard when it's one that we really like and is really well known, because I don't feel like dumping out a ton of trivia or anything on this one, because it's just a lot of people have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I am okay with doing it because of the circumstances for which we saw it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And you came up with the idea of recording for it.
Hmm.
And I said, that's a great idea.
Yeah, especially since it was a first time viewing.
Yeah.
I'd always heard about it. I remember seeing the cover for it, whether it was the DVD or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I remember seeing that and always wanting to watch it.
Yeah, and I've always kind of wanted to watch it with you,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know. I guess we just never got around to it because
Yeah.
it was on Joe Bob not that long ago, so I saw it on there.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we were going to talk about it on here, I didn't want a lot of that information coming out, and, you know, I didn't want to take any of his material.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
How would you rate it, saying movie, and would you recommend it?
It's definitely a movie. Oh, yeah. It's a really good... It's just such a well put together film. And there's so much to it. And I think it deserves all the praise it ever gets, and then some. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I've already recommended it to my friends.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. I told them to like watch it because, I mean, everything about it.
This is one you should watch with your friends.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
This is a movie.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, the fact that I still have my VHS copy somewhere just is testament. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. And yes, I absolutely recommend this all the time. Get grandma, watch Re-Animator with her. Get the kids, gather the kids around.
Yeah.
Come on, kids.
The dog.
The dog. It's family movie night. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. And that's one thing that this movie I did see when I was looking up the sequels and stuff, that the gore, I think because the humor was done so well in this movie, that the gore got a pass with a lot of people.
Mm.
And that's why it got favorable reviews, because the other movies are just, oh, it lacks the charm, or,
Sure.
you know, it's just for the gore hounds type of thing. I love it. Re-Animator. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great year of 1985. It was all but 10 when that came out. So yeah, that's it for me. I got nothing to add. Go see Re-Animator. Even if you have seen it, watch it again.
Watch it again.
And while you're at it, visit our TeePublic store.
We have some alright t-shirts.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, whatever.
Get yourself your Danzig shirt.
I'm wearing it again.
You're just wearing it right now.
I got mine on. Be cool like me. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, I wore my Corrupted Youth shirt to on campus, and like every couple minutes there's another person, oh my god, Corrupted Youth, I love that podcast. I didn't even think to tell him that I was, you know, the Brennan, but I was humble about it.
But I mean, that's nice. But I mean,
if you want some
should...
notoriety, get yourself a Corrupted Youth shirt.
Yeah, and you're wearing it on your Tinder profile.
Oh yeah. Actually, I had to take it off. It got too much attention.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then they saw your big Corrupted Youth chest tattoo. Anyway. I do want to, before I get too far into this, I forgot to do it last month. I'm going to do it this month. I forgot to give a shout out to longtime Dongle, Evan, who I saw him at EverCon, and it was shortly after our Judge Dredd episode came out, and he had a ton of praise to say about it because he had just gone through a big run of comics on Judge Dredd and with a group of other people. So they kind of talked about it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he, you know, liked what we had to say. He liked the movie and everything. So
no, that was a fun episode too.
Yeah. And so thank you, Evan, for the feedback. I'm still waiting on feedback from Mike. So you can't just send me a text saying that you want to leave feedback and just never do. So do it.
Better be good feedback.
Yeah. Speaking of feedback, you can write into us
at corruptedyouthpod at gmail.com. That was a good segue.
It was.
High five on that.
Yeah. I don't know. Donald Den on Facebook. It's our group. Go up there. Look at memes.
It's the slowest sinking ship on the internet.
It kind of is. No, I mean, I like everybody in there, and sometimes there's good responses. But, you know, I don't know. comment on something.
Yeah.
Get a conversation going. That's why it's there.
Cord says funny stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean, let's get the conversations going. You know, it can't just be like Court and Pete all the time, and sometimes Richard.
Yeah.
Polch will put some stuff on there once in a while. We'll post a meme now and then, so thanks for that, I guess. So maybe it's not as dead as we were just making it out. Thanks to the dongles, our listeners.
That's you guys.
Yeah. You're one right now.
Yeah,
just
if you're
because you
hearing
listen to this. You've become a dongle.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Now you too can walk around campus looking like a stud.
Mm-hmm. So walk past a group of people and then just whisper, I'm a dongle. Oh!
They'll all know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, sometimes we have to wear hats and hoodies and sunglasses when we go out in the public.
Mm-hmm.
We get mobbed.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That one time you had to be a woman. It's very
Hey.
progressive of you.
You know what, though? I felt fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
Good.
felt very free.
Good.
I don't know how to follow that up now. I hit the end of the show. Hang in there, dongles.
Bye.
Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth!
I'm not doing it again.
It works.
I don't get paid enough.
It works.